G'day mate, welcome back to Oxygen Not Included with me, Jet. Today I'm going to cover pipes. Now that is liquid pipes, that is gas pipes, and that is to a certain extent conveyor rails as well. And one of the reasons I've been putting off this video is one, I hate pipes. Two, whenever you give pipes a set of rules, they often ignore the rules. So, you know, don't take this as gospel because the game ignores its own rules from time to time. And three, I have a feeling I've forgotten things. So welcome to my incomplete guide to pipes. Anyway, in saying all that, let's get on with what I can actually tell you about pipes. So the way pipes generally work is liquid comes out of a green and charges towards the first white one it will find. That is pretty much a guaranteed rule that should work 99.5% of the time. As you can see, I have this little T intersection here. The liquid has no interest in that because there's no white connection on there for the liquid to head towards. Now, if I put in a liquid bridge, and when I say pipes, I am referring to liquid pipes, gas pipes, and to a certain extent conveyor rails, because they all tend to work on the mostly same rules. So you will find everything for this will apply definitely to gas, and in a lot of circumstances towards conveyor rails as well, although conveyor rails don't have as many options as we do with liquid and gas. So if I put a bridge in here, we should see that liquid will start charging towards this white connection as well. And you would assume it would go into this section up here and into this loop. It's not going to because it's gone from a white to a green and has no white to charge for. So if I just put in a liquid vent, and I'm going to throw that over there, you would assume it would charge straight for the white one. The catch is it is aiming straight for the white one. It can get to the white one this way, and it can get to the white one this way. And this is when we lead to all sorts of confusing liquids, gases, not knowing exactly what they should be doing. So again, if I just remove this vent, we now see all the liquid is going to charge back towards here, except for this one little packet that got confused. And that's just how liquids work. If I then disconnected this one, we'll now see that this little packet is going to charge towards the green one as well, because it doesn't know why. It just wants to get back and say hi to its neighbors. Now, what I can actually do is I can set up a liquid valve down here to give me a white. So we have an input, and if I hook that input to that output, believe it or not, we're going to actually create a loop of liquid. Now that loop of liquid, if I just speed up the game, let's actually disconnect you so I get full flow through this pipe. We're going to see all the liquid's going to charge back towards this one. I can make a continuous liquid loop. And the main reason you'd want to set up something like this is if your base is over here and you have a cold biome over here and you'd like to take some of the heat out of your base, you can, rather than putting in a pump that's going to go over here, suck up some cold, bring it over in the liquid and put it through your base before dumping back into your main reservoir, you can just set up a loop like this. Now, a loop like this, even after I remove this bridge, because the liquid coming out of here knows that it wants to rush towards a white one, it's going to keep running around this loop, and it will keep doing that forever. And it's going to cost me exactly 0 watts worth of power. This is something that you will end up probably doing in just about every base, setting up some sort of continuous liquid loop or gas loop or whatever it happens to be, that is just running on the simple fact that they want to flow in one direction. And this works really, really well. Now, I will say there's a small caveat that this is working currently, but due to the way liquids work, there is a chance that this might stop working either randomly or when you save the game and then reload it back up, because there isn't any room, technically, there isn't any room in this pipe for an extra packet of water. And when I say that, you can see that every single slot is full of liquid, which means that when the game loads, it might find that the liquid that's in this valve can't get from this side to this side because technically there's already a packet of liquid there. And the easiest answer for that, and if you ever set up one of these, is just empty one pipe section. So you have one gap in the system, and that should give you an infinite loop that keeps running around and around, because we can always see there's one extra spot for that liquid to move to. Now, that's the first thing I want to go through. Next thing I want to go through is a whole different bunch of the way of how pipes work. So, first off, we're going to turn on all our pumps. We're going to see what happens. So, I have polluted water coming down here. As you can see, it only has one output, so it's definitely going to go up to here. It's going to guarantee it's going to go for that top vent forever. If I hook up this one, it's going to have a stop, it's going to have a think about it, it's going to recalculate it, and it's going to understand that it can now on a tick-tock method, go up to the top one or down the bottom. We've created a perfect 50-50 split off our main trunk. If I connect that one up, after it has a think about it, we're going to go for a 1, 2, 3 method. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. And it's going to keep splitting like that over and over. Now, if I was to put another section here and put 2 more liquid vents, after it has a think about it, we're going to go for 1, 2, and then 1 again, and 3. And it's going to keep going like that. From here, we're going to split 50-50. So half it's going to go that way, half it's going to go that way. And then from here, we're going to split again 50-50. So this is something you can do to split up your liquid pipes. I don't honestly recommend it because you end up with a little bit of liquid in all the different spots when really you want to probably work on this sort of system, a priority system. So you're deciding all the liquid goes here, all the gas goes here till that backs up, and then we move on to the next one. So let's explain the next one. Next one, I actually have a liquid bridge. Now, the way liquid bridges work is the way most things work. So liquid bridge means the liquid is coming out of the green one and it's looking for the very first white one. If it can see a white one, it's going to go into that white one because that is what is the highest priority, jumping into that white pipe. The catch is green is the absolute lowest priority. So if I have a straight pipe here full of liquid, that is going to take priority over this green slot. And that's something you need to know, and it's something you need to keep in mind when building your pipes. That white is the highest priority. It's always going to go into a white one first, but it's going to have the lowest priority going into the green one. So you need to consider that when you're putting together your liquid setups and hooking up your system. So what I have here is I have a bridge bringing all the liquid up to this top branch, and because I have a vent here, we're dumping it all on the ground. I also have a liquid valve that's set down to 1 kilo, and if let's just actually extend that out a little bit more so we can see what's happening. If I disconnect this, we're going to see this liquid valve is going to only let through 1 kilo of water. So we're going to create a backup system here. So because we have a backup, we're going to move the excess water down here. And I could keep bridging that off and off again and just bringing what I need out here. This is what I often do with my base setup, where I have all my gas pumps pumping oxygen around the base. And I'll actually use a bridge off to a gas vent over and over and over throughout the base. So I know that all the gas, all the oxygen is going to go to that vent first, in the bedrooms, in the mess hall, in spots where duplicates tend to spend a lot of the time. And I really want to make sure they can probably breathe. And then after that vent is overpressurized, that causes a backup in the system, at which point the rest of the oxygen, liquid, whatever it happens to be, is going to run down to the next vent and so on and so forth. So this is really how the priorities work, that we go for that white one, and then from a white one we go, that's the highest priority, and then the green one is the lowest priority. And we're going to actually explain that further right here. So if I disconnect that, we hook those two together, we have a tick-tock system that we've seen before down in this video, well, this thing here. We can see that because we have 2 inputs, we're going to tick-tock between the 2 of them. Now, what I actually want to do is I want to prioritize this. So I want this to be like my main water supply. This is the one I'm trying to get rid of. And this is a backup water supply. And obviously, I don't want to take 50-50 from each. I want to prioritize emptying out the base water supply first, or maybe it's, you know, something that's in a biome in your way, and then you want to go back over to your existing water supply. So what I want to do is I want to bring this supply first, and then I want to bridge onto it. So because we're bridging onto it, if I disable you real quick, we're going to see that this one will have priority only when this one has nothing in it. If I re-enable that building and have an autosave, we're going to see that this one has priority at all times. So this is how the priority system works. It can be very, very helpful. It can be really, really annoying, but long and the short of it is white is the highest priority. This is where liquid's going to go. Green is the lowest priority. If there's anything that pipe first, it's not going to move across. Not unless it can merge, which we're going to cover shortly. So next we're going to cover filtering. So filtering is has many, many, many different options, and the first and the easiest and the dumbest is the liquid filter. This is built straight into the game. We can come down here, we've got a liquid filter, we can dump it wherever we want, and this actually has one input and two outputs. It has our filtered output, being the orange one, and it has our green output, which is everything else. So at the moment, we can see we're doing a TikTok again, and we are filtering out our polluted water. This is going to guarantee that all the polluted water comes this way, and all the clean water comes this way. If I was to deconstruct that pipe, you can see we don't have an output anymore. This system is going to just stop working. It's going to stop working hard because it has nowhere to push out the clean water. If I rehook up that, as I think about it for a second, we've got clean water coming out that way. If I was to disconnect this pipe, we're going to keep pumping clean water out here until it has a packet of polluted water, at which point that polluted water has nowhere to go, so the whole system breaks again. If I rehook that back up, polluted water has somewhere to go, we're good and dandy, clean water keeps coming out there. Here, this is a perfect guaranteed filter. It's never going to break, it's never going to get confused, it's going to work perfectly every time. Catch is 120 watts. It uses 120 watts worth of power constantly to run. So that is something you need to keep in mind. It is a little bit power heavy. The other thing is, if we disconnect power from this system, again, it just stops working. It's like, if I cannot do my job as instructed, I'm just not going to do anything. So this is your guaranteed system. It will work perfectly with liquids and gases at all times. Unfortunately, we don't have any sort of filtering system on conveyor rails, which is something I'm not particularly happy about. I think they should have filtering on them. But yeah, this is your guaranteed way to filter. Now, there are other options, and this is what we're going to cover now. So I actually have a liquid shutoff. Now, the reason I've used the liquid shutoff is this can open or close a line depending on what liquid or what the automation signal tells it. What I actually have here is a liquid element sensor. So liquid element sensor is detecting polluted water. If it detects polluted water, it's going to open up that valve, and it's going to let the polluted water run this way. And the reason this works is I have just a little bit of automation, and because these are beside one another, what actually happens is it detects the polluted water, and then the very next tick, so the very next movement of the water, it opens up that valve, and that polluted water teleports from there to there. And that's how that system works. So you need to have that liquid element sensor directly before the liquid shutoff. If you have it a few tiles beforehand, you're not going to end up with anything filtered correctly. You're going to end up with a giant mess on your hands. Now, the good thing about this system is it uses 10 watts worth of power. The catch is, if we disconnect that pipe, it's going to keep running. It's just going to stop doing its job. It has opened that valve, but there's nowhere for that liquid to go because it's been backed up for whatever reason, and the liquid is just going to keep flowing. If I was to disconnect that one instead, it's going to let everything through here. Even though it's detecting and... well, actually, it's running liquid in the wrong way. Let's hook that back up. Okay, you're back to working properly. Excellent. We're going to disconnect that now. And yeah, because liquids flow backward now, you might end up with some contamination on the top. So you need to make sure that this system is running perfectly. You never have any power issues, because that's the other thing. If we disconnect power, it's just going to run everything out that bottom line. So if you disconnect power, if either of the pipes backs up, anything like that, it fails. It fails dramatically. So this is like a 95% guaranteed or a 90% guaranteed system that it will work most of the time. It's not 100% guaranteed, but it's very, very, very low on power consumption and very, very easy to set up. Now, the other caveat with this one is when you first load the game, and this is something you've probably seen in every single one of your saves, when you load the game, it says that everything has no power, you have no food, you have nothing. And that's because on load of the game, it doesn't calculate all those things until you unpause. Which does mean that if this has the wrong liquid right here when you first load up the game, it's opening up in an unpowered state, so you are going to end up with whatever you're trying to filter probably in this bottom line. So it's something you need to keep in mind. This one has some limitations. They're not horrible, but they are definitely limitations. Next one we have is what's commonly referred to as a mechanical filter. So what I have here is I have a couple of steps. I have clean water here, which we're running through a bridge because I want to siphon some of it off. And then I've set this to 1 gram per second. So we've got a liquid valve to slow down our liquid output. So we're only putting out the tiniest bit of liquid into that pipe. Now, when we're actually bringing it down here and into our main output, we've just got a tiny little bit of liquid, but down here we have both clean water and polluted water running along here. Now, when we hit a bridge, as the liquids want to go through a bridge, well, actually, hang on, let's go back 2 steps. Let's disconnect that. We're going to hook those 2 together. And we're going to do empty pipes. So, first things first. You would assume that this clean water would go into the liquid bridge and then keep running up to this liquid bridge, and this polluted water would run straight to this liquid bridge. The catch is, first off, liquids are stupid. So as you can see, the polluted water is trying to run to both this bridge and this bridge, which means straight away I have wrong liquids going the wrong direction. So what I actually need to do is I need to deconstruct both those 2. And then I need to put in something to direct flow of the liquids. I'm using a liquid valve because that's just, it has a green, a white has a green, so the liquid's gonna, the clean water is gonna charge for this one. When it's full and can't go any further, it's gonna charge into this one and then merge into this line. So first things first, I've needed to make sure the liquid knows what it's meant to do and know which direction it needs to run. Secondly, we're running this liquid along here, and as you can see, we're charging for this green port. Now, because I have clean water up here, I can actually take clean water from the bottom pipe and merge it into the top pipe. But I have 10 kilos of water coming down here, and I have 1 milligram worth of water coming here, down here, being 1 gram. So I can't actually get all this liquid to merge into that pipe because there's not enough room for it. We can only put 10 kilos per tile, and I have 10 kilos down here, and I have already a little bit up here, so I have 1 milligram coming back out this valve down here. Now, because this is on a TikTok method, it's taking two seconds to 2 movements of the liquid pipes for me to get clean water through here. So if I set this to 4998 and run it like that for a little while, we should see we have 10 kilos, 10 kilos, 10 kilos. Let's set it to 0 for a second. Excellent. 4998. So we have 4998. The next one, even though it says 10 kilos, is not actually 10 kilos. It is, you can't give me more exact. So it is actually 9,998 grams worth of water. The game is rounding up to 10 because what's actually happening is it's taking 2 seconds for this valve to run. If we just set that to something nice and simple like 3,000, we can demonstrate this better. 6 kilos. So I have a 3 kilo packet plus a 3 kilo packet we've added together to give us 6 kilos. And then because I now have room in this pipe, we're actually moving the whole lot up to here. If I set this back to, what was it, 4998, it'll say 10 kilos, but it's actually less than 10 kilos. So we can now see we are able to merge the whole lot into this top pipe. Like I said, this is a mechanical filter. It is working on the fact that liquid loves white ports, and it wants to move to a green port. If there's enough room in that green port, it will actually merge the 2 packets together. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're using the fact that we're merging the packets together to dump all the liquid out here. Now, again, a couple of caveats. If this pipe backs up, this is going to keep running. It's going to keep running. It's just going to dump all the mixed material straight out this bottom port. Same thing happens here. If I block this port, we're going to have the little bit of liquid that we've been pumping through the top keep continuing out here. It's basically just going to stop the main line and stop our filtering efforts. So this is a mechanical filter. These have been around the game for a long time. But the next thing I actually want to show you is again, it's a mechanical filter, but it's a little bit more in depth. So let's just spread everything out a little bit so we can see it a little bit better. What I want to do is I want to enable that pump. And first thing I need to do is I need to seed this system. So this works on a valve as well. And it's been set all the way down to 1 gram per second. So we're bringing in liquid here, and I'm shipping 1 gram per second around in this loop. It's going to keep going around and around and around and around. And as soon as we're done, I can remove all of that. And we can see we always have 1 gram worth of liquid flowing around the circle. If I enable this pipe as well and do that, we're going to have a lovely contaminated pipe full of all sorts of crap running through here. Now, as I said, because liquids want to merge together, what I can actually do is I can put a liquid bridge here, and polluted water cannot merge from this bottom line into this top line. So the polluted water can't move across, but the clean water can. And as you can see, I still have just a tiny bit of liquid left over. But in this system, I have a larger loop, so I have a bit more room to move. So if I actually put a second bridge in here, we should go from 100 milligrams, okay, well, all the time, to occasional packets of 200 milligrams. I had a 300 milligram there for a second. So we should have occasional packets of 200 milligrams. Obviously, they should also have a chance to empty back out of the system, so we should be okay. But again, biggest problem with this is if this backs up, the whole system just stops dead because it has nowhere to run. And if this one backs up, this loop's going to keep going around forever and ever and ever, but we cannot get any more clean water into the system, so we're just going to keep running clean water straight through and straight out our output pipe. So it does require that this pipe and this pipe are always running. The other thing it requires a counterflow. So it needs whatever liquid's coming down here that's going, say, left to right, it needs this to go in the opposite direction, so in the case of right to left. So we have room to move that big packet out and then have that little bit of excess packet to move out as well, and it actually merges in behind the big packet, and that's really the important thing. It needs to merge into behind it rather than in front of it, because by the time it moves in front, yeah, it's overlapping with that big packet. So that's how this system works. It's a great little system. It is a mechanical filter. As always, it has a caveat that you need to make sure that both these pipes are 100% empty at all times. They need room to move, otherwise the whole system backs up and breaks. You can use different types of automation to turn pumps on and off. I'm not going to go into any of that here now, but you know, there are workarounds for every single one of the downfalls of this system. So that was my covering on pipes and everything else. I have a feeling I missed things. I have a feeling that there is definitely going to be other things that I should have covered and I forgot all about. By all means, down in the comment section, tell me what I missed. Tell me what I covered well. Tell me what I should cover next. At the same time, if you enjoyed the video, by all means, click the like button. And yeah, down in the comments, tell me everything I did wrong, and especially tell me what video you'd like to see next, because I'm pretty sure I've covered just about everything in this game. There's a few things I haven't got to yet, but I think pretty much at this stage everything's been covered. Lastly, I do want to say to you guys, thank you for all the new subscriptions. Welcome to the channel, by all means. It's been great to see new people down in the comments commenting and new questions being raised. And lastly, because you guys have requested it over and over and over, I am starting a Let's Play series tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to start on Rime. We're going to start with a little bit of a cold map. We're going to see how many sacrifices, duplicates we can kill off in the meantime. Sacrifice, yeah. How many duplicates we can sacrifice working our way through Rime. Anyway, that's going to be it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed. And yeah, welcome to all the new people. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video all about Oxygen Not Included and a brand new playthrough. Anyway, I'll see you guys then. Thank you very much for watching. See you next one. Bye.